The hotel bed was surrounded by torn evening gowns and crumpled shirts. Her wrist was clamped by a large hand, her consciousness already blurred by the overwhelming effects of the drug and the man's scorching breath. Her throat was hoarse, her entire body burning, as she felt the aggressive press of lips and teeth marking her skin. The tingling pain sent shivers down her spine, followed by an aching soreness between her legs, mixed with an unfamiliar pleasure. Yet her mind flashed back to the drink her fiancé had handed her, at the urging of her sister. If it weren't for that scumbag drugging her, how could she have stumbled into this man's room and ended up in such a state? She never would have imagined that her fiancé, who had always appeared gentle and devoted, was actually having an affair with her parents' adopted daughter. He had drugged her, intending to ruin her innocence. If she hadn't escaped, she would have been violated by those thugs by now. Her thoughts grew hazier, and she gritted her teeth, murmuring his name. The man's movements paused, his voice low and icy as he spoke hers. He knew her? She struggled to open her eyes and see him clearly, but all she could make out were those dark, cold, yet feverish eyes. Lost in the waves of pleasure, she could only collapse weakly against his shoulder, gasping and moaning. A night of madness. She didn't remember when she had finally passed out from exhaustion, but when she woke again, her entire body ached, and the soreness between her legs was a humiliating reminder. The stains on the sheets and the marks on her skin brought back the memories of the previous night. She had actually slept with a stranger? No, he had called her by name. He seemed to know her. Her expression darkened further. She was the eldest daughter of her family, but due to a mix-up at birth, she wasn't found and brought back until she was 18. Yet her family treated her with indifference, favoring the fake heiress instead. Her 5 older brothers had even gone out of their way to protect her sister, targeting her at every turn. She hadn't cared much and had no interest in competing, but now that they had schemed against her, she wouldn't let them off easily. Was this man also part of their plan? Did they want to frame her for infidelity while she was still engaged? The bathroom light was on, the faint sound of running water indicating the man was still showering. Her lips pressed into a tight line as she quickly dressed, not daring to waste time figuring out his identity. She just wanted to escape this dangerous situation. But just as she tiptoed toward the door, the bathroom door swung open. A deep, cold voice rang out. "Trying to leave? Did I permit that?" When she saw his face, her expression turned deathly pale. How could it be? Her fiancé's uncle, the head of the powerful Huo family. She instinctively stepped back, but her wrist was seized. He wore only a towel, his damp black hair swept back carelessly. Water droplets trailed down his sharp jawline, over his broad shoulders, and along the defined ridges of his chest and abdomen, an unbearably tempting sight. Those dark eyes held an unmistakable chill as he smirked, pinning her against the wall and leaning in. "What's wrong? Don't recognize me." She would have loved to pretend she didn't know him, but she couldn't. It had been her fiancé's birthday banquet yesterday, and she had already crossed paths with him then. Not to mention, his face was a regular feature in financial news. No one in the entire country wouldn't recognize him. Rumors said he was cold-natured, ruthless, and decisive. Over the years, countless women had schemed to climb into his bed, and not a single one had ended well. This was a disaster. How had she managed to provoke this dangerous man? She cursed her fiancé's ancestors in her heart again. If it weren't for his drugging, she wouldn't have barged into his room to escape those men. Now that she was in his grasp, what was she supposed to do? "Mr. Huo, this is just a misunderstanding." She dug her nails into her palm, forcing herself to calm down, and turned her head away, avoiding the man's gaze. "I was set up, which is why I ended up offending you. Could you please let me off the hook and pretend this never happened?" "Set up?" Huo Jingyan's eyes first sharpened. Then he casually threw her onto the sofa. "Huh? Zhou Peihan, that good-for-nothing, can't even protect his own fiancé, letting you get set up at his birthday banquet." Ning Feiyu's fists tightened again, her nails almost digging into her palms. Was he suspicious of her, thinking she had deliberately tried to seduce him? But hearing his disdainful tone when speaking of Zhou Peihan, it seemed their uncle-nephew relationship wasn't good. Huo Jingyan had always been aloof, rarely wasting time attending banquets. His appearance at the birthday banquet yesterday had made her think he cared a great deal about his nephew. She deliberated for a moment before slowly speaking. The one who set me up was Zhou Peihan. He wanted to drug me and have a few hooligans defile me, so he could break off our engagement and live happily ever after with my dear sister. Before she could finish, a sudden chill filled the man's eyes, and the hostility radiating from him almost solidified. Ning Feiyu's spine stiffened. Did he think she was deliberately slandering Zhou Peihan? And that's why he was angry? She took a step back and quickly said, "If Mr. Huo doesn't believe me, I can show you proof." The man stared at her intently, the coldness in his eyes softening slightly. After a long moment, he spoke indifferently. "How?" Ning Feiyu, seeing that he was still somewhat reasonable, breathed a sigh of relief. She pulled out her phone, connected to the hotel Wi-Fi, and slid her finger across the screen, directly bringing up the hotel surveillance footage. She handed the phone to the man, her tone cautious. "I really only burst in because I was being chased. You can also investigate the identities of those people. I truly wouldn't dare to scheme against you. I won't reveal anything about last night's incident and definitely won't cause you any trouble. After leaving this room, Mr. Huo and I will still be strangers who have only met once. Does that work for you? After all, if this blows up, it won't benefit either of us." Unexpectedly, Huo Jingyan looked at her with a half-smile. "You hacked the hotel firewall?" Ning Feiyu blinked, not understanding why he would ask that, and nodded as if it were obvious. "Yes, the hotel wouldn't give me the surveillance footage. This hotel seems to be the Zhou family's property, so I could only." Miss Ning seems to be mistaken. The man's lips curled as he pinched her chin. "This hotel is my property." She had actually hacked his hotel right in front of Huo Jingyan. Oh no, this was a huge problem. Ning Feiyu's back stiffened. She took a deep breath and, deciding to be direct, said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Huo. As long as you're willing to let this matter go, I'm willing to compensate you for all your losses. You can name your conditions, as long as they are within my means." She didn't want to provoke him. A little financial loss was just paying to avoid trouble. Ning Feiyu felt her attitude was very sincere, but to her surprise, Huo Jingyan narrowed his eyes, and a slightly dangerous curve appeared on his lips. "Miss Ning means to pretend last night's events never happened?" Ning Feiyu nodded, just about to give him a more earnest assurance, when her chin was pinched by him. "What does Miss Ning take me for? You do something like this and think it can be easily dismissed." His somewhat rough thumb grazed her lips, sending a tingling pain through her. "Hacking my hotel firewall isn't a big deal, but since you've had skin-to-skin contact with me, you owe me an explanation." Give him an explanation? What does that mean? Does he think the material compensation isn't enough and insists on her being maimed? Ning Feiyu shivered inadvertently, gritted her teeth, and said, "Mr. Huo, it's best to leave a way out for others, so you can meet again in the future. Why be so ruthless?" The man raised his chin to look at her, his gaze unkind, and the strength of his grip suddenly intensified. Ning Feiyu's chin ached, and she was forced to raise her head and meet his cold, deep gaze. A do-or-die thought had already formed in her mind, but she was so shocked by Huo Jingyan's next words that her head buzzed, and she couldn't recover for a long time. "What? Is marrying me so unacceptable for Miss Ning? You look like you're about to be executed on the guillotine." The curve of the man's lips was astonishingly cold. "I remember Miss Ning wasn't so resistant when she got engaged to my good-for-nothing nephew." He gripped her chin and pulled her closer, his tall nose almost touching Ning Feiyu's face. "In your eyes, am I even worse than that little beast?" Ning Feiyu was stunned. She didn't want him to take responsibility, yet he actually wanted her to give him an explanation and marry him? Is Huo Jingyan crazy? "Mr. Huo, I can't afford to take this kind of joke." Ning Feiyu instinctively wanted to step back. "I am currently your nephew's fiancé." Huo Jingyan's gaze became even sharper. "He schemed against you like that, and you still want to marry him?" "No, I'm not brainless," Ning Feiyu quickly denied. "But I can't marry you either." Huo Jingyan's expression softened slightly, but upon hearing the latter part of her sentence, his face darkened again. "Why? Do you hate me?" Ning Feiyu shook her head, choosing her words carefully. "No, I'm just a little afraid of you." Huo Jingyan's lips tightened further. "Afraid of me? What did I do to make you afraid?" Ning Feiyu opened her mouth, a little surprised that he would dig so deeply, and also a little at a loss. Finally, She replied vaguely, aren't other people also very afraid of you? At yesterday's banquet, those influential figures, upon seeing Huo Jingyan, all became as docile as if they had met their ancestors. Huo Jingyan clenched his fist, his eyes slightly cool. Then other women also want to marry me very much. Why don't you? Ning Feiyu felt a little broken down, wishing she could strangle him and ask him what kind of mischief he was trying to cause. But she didn't dare. Facing the man's deep eyes, she took a deep breath. Lord Huo, marriage, after all, is not a small matter. Could you allow me to consider it further before giving you an answer? Huo Jingyan stared at the birthmark on her shoulder, nodded slightly, and took out a gold-embossed business card. My number is on it. Call me when you've made up your mind. With that, Huo Jingyan changed his clothes and left. Ning Feiyu finally breathed a sigh of relief. After a while, she still put the business card away. By the time she put on her clothes and rushed home, her adopted sister Ning Qianqian had just gotten out of a car. Upon seeing her, a hint of surprise flashed in Ning Qianqian's eyes. Soon, she adopted a worried expression. Sister, where did you go last night? Why did you suddenly disappear at Han Gij's birthday banquet? We were all so worried about you. Still trying to act like an innocent lotus, hypocrite, in front of her? Does she think she doesn't know that Zhou Peihan, that beast, drugged her, and that it was at her suggestion? Looking at the traces of powder on her neck, and recalling the thug saying Zhou Peihan was going to be with his sweetheart last night, she only felt that this pair of scoundrels was utterly disgusting. Ning Feiyu didn't wait for her to finish speaking, but slapped her hard. Since when does my business, as the legitimate eldest daughter of the Ning family, become something for an adopted daughter like you to meddle with? Her eyes were cold, and her palm was a little red, showing how hard the slap was. Ning Qianqian's face was swollen, and her hair was disheveled, making her look exceptionally pathetic. A look of disbelief flashed in her eyes, which then turned resentful, malicious, and fierce. This little bitch who came back from the countryside actually dared to lay a hand on her. Does she think that after staying in the Ning family for a long time, she can put on airs like a young miss? Why didn't she die outside? Why did she come back to steal her identity? She was clenching her teeth, about to speak, when she suddenly saw a figure moving at the villa staircase. The malicious expression vanished in an instant, and Ning Qianqian spoke pitifully. Sister, that's not what I meant. It's just that you didn't come home all night, and I was very worried about you. That's why I asked. She continued, you're a girl, and you've just come back from the village. I'm worried you'll be tricked by someone with ill intentions. After all, you and Han Gij are engaged now. If you do anything bad, both our families will be affected. She bit her lip, looking worried. And someone even saw you leave with a few men. I'm afraid you. This hesitant and suggestive manner clearly implied that she had done something shameful. Ning Feiyu sneered, stepped forward, grabbed her hair, and roughly wiped off the foundation on her neck, revealing the mottled red marks. Afraid of what? That I'd be like you, fooling around with men all night, depraved and shameless. She leaned closer to Ning Qianqian's ear, her voice chilling to the bone. Was it exciting sleeping with your future brother-in-law? Stop pretending in front of me. I wouldn't touch that rotten banana. If you're willing to pick up trash, I couldn't be happier. Ning Qianqian's pupils constricted, and her body involuntarily trembled. How could she know? Ning Feiyu, what are you doing? Why are you bullying Qianqian? A sharp shout suddenly came from the villa, and rapid footsteps approached. Ning Feiyu looked up and saw the current Ning family president, her biological elder brother Ning Huayan, stepping forward in a furious rage and twisting her wrist. You scoundrel! Qianqian was kindly concerned about you. How dare you bully her like this? Apologize at once. A sharp pain shot through her wrist. Ning Huayan's hand gripped it, veins bulging, looking as vicious as if he wanted to break her wrist. Ning Feiyu lifted her eyelids and looked steadily at him. What did I do wrong? Why should I apologize to her? Still unrepentant, Ning Huayan gritted his teeth, helped Ning Qianqian up, and shielded her in his arms, his eyes filled with immense concern. But when he looked at her, his face was cold and angry. I heard everything Qianqian said just now. Are you out of your mind? How dare you mess around outside all night? Truly an uncultured country girl. You've done such a shameful thing and are still so self-righteous. With your kind of conduct, marrying into the Zhou family will likely ruin the long-standing friendship between our two families. Why don't we let Qianqian marry Peihan instead? Ning Feiyu sneered. She understood the meaning now. They wanted to use this incident to create trouble and make her give up the engagement. Before Ning Qianqian's identity was exposed, Zhou Peihan and Ning Qianqian grew up together as childhood sweethearts, and it was long assumed they would marry. Even after she returned, the Ning family still tried to have Ning Qianqian fulfill the engagement, but the old master of the Zhou family spoke up and recognized her, the biological daughter of the Ning family. So, in order to make things happen for Ning Qianqian, they could disregard right and wrong and shamelessly pour dirt on her? Give up the engagement? Fine. Anyway, someone like Zhou Peihan, I don't fancy either. Ning Feiyu flipped her wrist and effortlessly broke free from Ning Huayan's hand. However, I want Ning Qianqian to kneel and apologize to me, and that jerk Zhou Peihan to admit in all media announcements that he cheated with his fiancé's sister and violated the engagement. Ning Qianqian's face instantly turned ashen, and she instinctively denied it vehemently. I didn't. How could I possibly seduce my sister's fiancé? She looked at Ning Huayan's somewhat puzzled expression, clenched her fists, her face full of innocence and fear. Sister, you've really misunderstood. Han Gij and I just have a brother-sister relationship from growing up as childhood sweethearts. It's absolutely not what you think. How could you speculate about me like that? Ning Feiyu looked at her weak, white lotus act and felt disgusted. If not, could it be that those marks on your neck were made by some other wild man? She looked at Ning Qianqian with a half-smile. Playing quite wild, are we? As expected, us country folk don't understand the strange plays of city people. Ning Qianqian's face stiffened again. She forced herself to be calm and argued. I just had an allergic reaction. How could you think such filthy thoughts, sister? Ning Feiyu scoffed. I don't have time to listen to your sophistry here. If you want me to break off the engagement, there's only this one option. In her dictionary, there was no such thing as swallowing one's anger. Even if it was trash she looked down on, if others schemed to take it from her, they would have to kneel to pick it up. Ning Qianqian's lips trembled, unable to speak, but Ning Huayan clenched his fist and spoke sharply. Ning Feiyu, that's enough. Peihan never liked you. Qianqian has been sensible and well-behaved since she was little, proficient in all the arts. Music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. She's what a wealthy family's daughter-in-law should be like. Not like you, crude, rude, and unlearned. You clung to him stubbornly and broke him and Qianqian apart. And now you're even making such demands. You're simply malicious. They grew up together as childhood sweethearts and are well-matched in family status. They were always meant to be a couple. Ning Feiyu looked at him, her eyes full of sarcasm. Did young Master Ning forget? I am the Ning family's biological daughter. The one who originally grew up as Zhou Peihan's childhood sweetheart and was raised to be proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. That should be me, right? Ning Huayan choked, suddenly unable to speak. Brother, why are you wasting your breath on her? A man wearing a loose hoodie and headphones walked in, seeming to have just finished his morning run. He looked at Ning Feiyu, his eyes full of arrogance. Give up the engagement. Otherwise, the family will have no choice but to cut off your allowance and teach you a good lesson. After speaking, he gently put his arm around Ning Qianqian and said softly, Don't be afraid. Second brother will get revenge for you. I'll definitely teach this ill-behaved girl a good lesson. Ning Qianqian clutched the corner of Ning Huaima's clothes, her eyes red-rimmed, looking pitiful. Second brother, please don't argue with sister because of me. I'm just an outsider. You two are real siblings. The man saw her like this, and his heart ached. Nonsense. You are second brother's most beloved sister. You're our Ning family's little princess. He turned his furious gaze to Ning Feiyu. Kneel and apologize to Qianqian. This is Ning Huaima, the second young master of the Ning family, currently a singer-songwriter idol. He's very popular due to his handsome appearance. Fans think he's cool, arrogant, and full of personality, but they don't know that in front of Ning Qianqian, he's practically a lapdog. Ning Feiyu sneered silently, her gaze falling on the hand Ning Huayan had wrapped around her waist. The most cherished sister? Or a lover sister with sordid intentions? What clever tactics, making everyone dance to your tune. Ning Qianqian's expression changed, and Ning Huaima clenched his teeth fiercely. You scoundrel! Spouting nonsense. He raised his hand, about to punch Ning Feiyu in the face. Ning Feiyu remained expressionless. Just as the fist was about to land on her face, she gave a sharp kick to his knee. Ning Huaima's face contorted in pain as he fell heavily to his knees on the ground. Looking at Ning Feiyu in disbelief, his lips pale. You. Ning Qianqian's mouth fell open, never expecting this woman to be so crazy as to lay hands on second Ning. No need for all this pretense. Ning Feiyu looked down at her. Staying in this house for one more second makes me sick. You never treated me as a sister, and I don't care for you either. From now on, I have no relation to you, and I am no longer a Ning family member. With that said, she went straight upstairs to pack her luggage. Ignoring the cold and resentful gazes of the three, she turned and walked out the door. Leaving that so-called home, Ning Feiyu felt a lightness she had never experienced before. When her biological parents found her, she still held hope and expectation for her family, but the cold reality chilled her heart again and again. Biological kinship meant nothing. It wasn't even comparable to the warmth and love her adoptive parents had given her in that distant desert. She had originally planned to return to a villa she had previously acquired, but then her phone suddenly rang. Seeing the caller's name, she answered the phone, suspicious. Feng Qi? What's wrong? Sister Fei? I found out something incredible. On the other end of the line, the man's voice was unusually grave. That adopted daughter of your family. She's very likely your father's illegitimate daughter. And you? Back then, you probably weren't swapped by mistake. Even your mother's death might not have been so simple. Ning Feiyu clenched her fist. She only learned after returning to the Ning family that her biological mother had fallen critically ill and passed away soon after giving birth to her, and her father had not remarried. But now, Feng Qi was saying things weren't so simple. Wait for me. I'll come to your company to discuss. She hung up the phone and directly hailed a car to Feng's group building. Seeing the information in Feng Qi's hand, Ning Feiyu's face turned shockingly cold. Ning Qianqian was actually the daughter of her father Ning Hongguang's white moonlight, and that white moonlight had died in childbirth after giving birth to Ning Qianqian. Before her delivery, Ning Hongguang had been taking care of her, and even her hospital room was arranged next to her mother's room. It seemed he had long planned the idea of swapping them. She expressionlessly put the items away. You've gone to a lot of trouble. No need to be polite. Feng Qi waved his hand. If you hadn't cured me back then, I wouldn't have my life now. If there's anything you need me for, just say the word. Ning Feiyu twirled her fingertips. There is indeed something I need you for. I previously asked you to look after the Ning family, but now there's no need. All the help you've given them before, you can withdraw it. Feng Qi was startled. You've come to your senses? That's truly wonderful. You don't know how troublesome it is to help that bunch of good-for-nothings. They have no skills, but their tempers are bigger than the last. I couldn't even keep up with cleaning up their messes. Ning Feiyu tugged at her lips. You've worked hard. I'll treat you to a meal sometime. She had many hidden identities and businesses. If not for Feng Qi helping her conceal them and handle liaison, her life wouldn't have been so peaceful. When she first returned to that home, she had wanted to take good care of her family, which was why she asked Feng Qi for help. For over a year now, the Ning family had prospered with her help, but only today had she finally seen their true colors. No need for a meal. Feng Qi seemed a little embarrassed. Actually, I also have something I'd like to trouble you with. I have a friend whose grandfather is ill. He often suffers from heart palpitations and headaches, and frequently falls into a coma. Many famous doctors have seen him, but he hasn't gotten better. He has a deep bond with his grandfather, and he's offered a 100 million reward to cure him. I thought perhaps you could help. Ning Feiyu agreed readily. All right, where is it? I'll go take a look. Having received their kindness, she would definitely help. Moreover, she was a bit short on money now, so it would naturally be better if she could make ends meet more comfortably. Feng Qi directly arranged for a driver to take her there. The car drove to a magnificent estate. The driver explained her identity to the gate guard, who then let her in. However, the distance from the gate to the main building was so great that even a shuttle car took 5 minutes. After numerous checks, Ning Feiyu was finally brought into the main building. She couldn't help but inwardly grumble. wondering what important person the owner of this estate was to have such a grand setup. As she was being taken upstairs, she saw a group of doctors arguing heatedly in the corridor, keeping their voices low. The elder's symptoms clearly indicate cardiovascular and cerebrovascular disease. Although no issues are detected in the examination, to be safe, I believe he should undergo bypass surgery immediately to prevent future complications. I think conservative treatment is better. First, use special medicine. Ning Feiyu's mouth twitched. These people were really bold. They were going to start operating before even figuring out the problem? She saw them arguing so fiercely that spittle was flying everywhere, and she couldn't get a word in, so it would be better to go check on the patient's condition. Entering the patient room, Ning Feiyu walked in wearing a mask. She saw a kind-faced old man lying on the bed, his face pale, looking like he was barely breathing. She squinted her eyes and carefully examined him, then picked up the stethoscope and placed it on the elder's chest. After listening carefully for a while and looking at the elder's chest X-ray and brain CT, she roughly knew what was wrong with him. His heart was indeed not very good, but the cause of his coma was unrelated to heart disease. If they really followed those people's treatment methods, with open-heart surgery and traditional secret remedies, it might actually cause problems. A sharp shout came from outside. "Who are you? Why did you break into the elder's room? What do you want?" Ning Feiyu heard the voice, raised her eyelids, and looked towards the door. The quack doctors from before were glaring at her fiercely. She spoke calmly. "I'm examining the elder. Where did this inexperienced girl come from? Someone like you. Haven't even graduated from medical school, have you? Do you have the ability to treat the elder?" The white-haired quack doctor spoke sternly. "Elder Huo is of noble status. You can't just mess around with him. The elder's surname is Huo? What a coincidence." Ning Feiyu didn't think much of it. She just said calmly, "You all are supposedly capable, so how come you can't even tell what's wrong with the elder?" The several people were so choked by her words that their faces turned red. The traditional Chinese medicine doctor retorted indignantly. "Then you tell us, what's wrong with the elder?" Ning Feiyu said indifferently. "There's a tumor in his brain, compressing the nerves, causing headaches and palpitations, which led to his coma. He needs immediate surgery." "Nonsense. There's no sign of a tumor on the CT scan." The doctor who had previously suggested bypass surgery glared at Ning Feiyu and spoke even more rudely. "I think you, little girl, are deliberately here to cause trouble, spouting nonsense after only hearing the symptoms. You can't even read the scans." Ning Feiyu sighed. "Just because you can't do it doesn't mean no one else can. It's indeed hard to see on the scan, but it's right here." She held up the brain CT scan, pointing to a tiny, almost imperceptible black spot on it. "That's what's compressing the nerve." The several people subconsciously looked over, their brows furrowing even more tightly. Such a tiny spot, even if it is a tumor, couldn't possibly affect the nerves. How can you make such an easy conclusion? Exactly. And you even want immediate surgery? Do you know how risky brain surgery is? So young, yet you dare to act so recklessly? Don't you know who the elder is? Is he someone you can just mess with? Get out now? Stop messing around here. We need to continue our examination. They think she's young, so she can't treat people? Ning Feiyu couldn't be bothered to argue with them. She spoke calmly, sweeping her gaze over the several people. "You, face flushed, acne breakouts, chapped lips, red tongue with yellow fur, and your stomach always feels burning lately, right? This is a clear case of stomach fire face. It could well be gastritis. And you, skin dull and lusterless, very inelastic, dry and rough, dark circles under your eyes like a net. Your liver has problems, your mouth tastes bitter when you wake up, and you're always feeling fatigued and weak, aren't you? Why don't you try some folk remedies on yourself? You can't even handle your own illnesses. You're just a bunch of quacks. What right do you have to criticize me here?" The several doctors heard her say this, and their mouths dropped open in disbelief. It seemed they really did have such symptoms. But this woman, she just took one look and said it all. How capable. The atmosphere in the patient room became especially heavy. Suddenly, the elder on the bed began breathing heavily, and his face instantly contorted in pain. The several doctors instantly panicked. Ning Feiyu's expression turned serious. "Prepare for surgery immediately." Those doctors now somewhat believed that Ning Feiyu's medical skills were superior to theirs. But could a craniotomy be treated as a joke? This was a private estate. Even with many medical devices, the instruments weren't as complete as in an operating room. How can we operate here? Many professional instruments are missing. I only need basic surgical instruments. If anything goes wrong, I'll take full responsibility. It has nothing to do with you. Ning Feiyu knew there was no time to lose. If they delayed further, the old man would not only be in extreme physical pain, but prolonged nerve compression would also cause sequelae. You contact the patient's family for the informed consent form. You can then stand by and watch me operate. The doctors exchanged glances, seeing the old man's increasingly grim face, and could only grit their teeth. All right, we'll notify the family. Soon, the informed consent form and surgical instruments were ready. The servants sectioned off a sterile room. Ning Feiyu disinfected herself and changed into surgical scrubs, administered anesthesia to the old man, and began the craniotomy. The doctors stood by as assistants, a little apprehensive. Without a craniotomy drill, how would she open it? The brain was so complex. Would she rely solely on her naked eye and instruments to remove the tumor? Her movements seemed very bold. As instruments flew, every one of her operations was fast, precise, and accurate. Was she even thinking about the surgical process? How could she so accurately avoid critical nerves and blood vessels? The observing doctors watched with bated breath, afraid to miss any of Ning Feiyu's movements. The skull was open, so fast. The doctor's pupils constricted, looking in disbelief at the incision. Even with professional cutting equipment, it couldn't be this efficient and neat, could it? Next, Ning Feiyu's actions made it even harder for them to look away. There was no instrument in the estate to magnify intracranial images, yet the scalpel in her hand seemed to have eyes of its own, precisely avoiding complex neural tissues and excising the tumor, which was smaller than a pea. Then came hemostasis and skull closure, all in one seamless motion. If there are no unexpected complications, the old man will wake up in half an hour. I'll stay here to watch over him. Ning Feiyu took off her scrubs. You're surely clear on the post-operative precautions, aren't you? The doctors stood in a row, like elementary school students being lectured by a teacher, nodding rapidly like chickens pecking at rice. After moving the old man back to the recuperation ward, the doctors anxiously watched the vital signs monitoring equipment. Just as Ning Feiyu had said, in less than half an hour, the old man's finger twitched, and he murmured, "Water." He really woke up. The doctors looked at Ning Feiyu, as if she were a god. They all crowded around to ask for advice. Ning Feiyu was gracious and answered each question. Seeing that it was getting late, she told the butler, "I'm a friend of Feng Qi. Please transfer the consultation fee directly to him. He'll pass it on to me. If the old man has any issues later, just contact me directly." She didn't want to reveal her identity to too many people to avoid trouble. The butler nodded busily and respectfully escorted her out. Leaving the estate and walking to a spot without surveillance cameras, Ning Feiyu finally took off her mask and walked to the roadside to hail a taxi. A black Maybach slowly pulled up in front of her. The rear window rolled down, and a low, cold voice asked, "Why are you at my doorstep?" Ning Feiyu's eyes suddenly widened, staring in disbelief at the handsome man in the car. How could Huo Jingyan be here? This manor is his home. Then he's the grandson of that old man from just now. She instinctively recoiled. But Huo Jingyan had already gotten out of the car and was pressing close. Why aren't you speaking?" I came to find you." Ning Feiyu didn't dare expose her identity in front of Huo Jingyan, and carelessly dropped her mask. "I had a fight with my family and was kicked out. I'm homeless, so I wanted to ask if you could take me in." Huo Jingyan's eyes darkened slightly. "You come with me first." He had many doubts, but his grandfather's condition had changed, and he had no time to delay. Ning Feiyu obediently got into his car, secretly complaining inwardly. If he found out, with this man's suspicious nature, he might suspect her even more of having ulterior motives. She took off her jacket, and her hair, which had been tied in a ponytail, was now casually loose, and she deliberately used her bangs to cover her eyes. She had been wearing a mask just now, hoping that the doctors and servants in the manor wouldn't recognize her. Following Huo Jingyan into the manor, the servants and doctors hurried forward to tell him that old Master Huo was out of danger. Huo Jingyan frowned slightly. Where is that doctor? The butler spoke submissively. She has already left. She claimed to be Mr. Feng Qi's friend and said that the medical fees should be sent to Mr. Feng's account and to contact Mr. Feng if there were any questions. Huo Jingyan narrowed his eyes. Settle her in my room. I'll go upstairs to see Grandpa. Only then did the butler notice the woman beside him, who was looking down and silent. He was startled, always feeling that this young lady looked a bit familiar, but couldn't place where he had seen her before. Could this be the woman the young master was going to marry? He didn't ask further, respectfully saying to Ning Feiyu, "Miss, please come with me." Ning Feiyu finally breathed a sigh of relief, obediently followed him upstairs, but was secretly wondering how to escape now. Soon, Huo Jingyan returned to the room. He casually took off his suit jacket, rolled up his shirt sleeves, and sat down opposite her indifferently. "Miss Ning, have you thought it through and decided to marry me?" Ning Feiyu's heart tightened. Why bring this up again? She pinched her palm, forcing herself to calm down, and spoke, biting her lip. "It's my good fortune that Mr. Huo thinks highly of me, but I haven't broken off my engagement with your nephew yet." Huo Jingyan glanced at her. "Such an insignificant small trouble doesn't require your concern. It's something that can be resolved with just one word." Ning Feiyu looked at the expressionless man, speechless for a moment. Why did he insist on marrying her? Since she had moved out of the Ning family, breaking off the engagement with Zhou Peihan was only a matter of time. There was no need to rely on marrying Huo Jingyan to resolve this matter. "Your adoptive parents were kind to me and once made a marriage arrangement, hoping I would take care of you." Huo Jingyan noticed her hesitation and said, "Become my wife, and you won't have to rely on the Ning family. You'll live a life free of worries about food and clothing." When her adoptive parents were mentioned, Ning Feiyu hesitated again. She seemed to remember something like this. Her family had once rescued a young boy, and her adoptive parents had also told her that she could marry him in the future. Was that young boy Huo Jingyan? But Huo Jingyan's tone was so indifferent that she momentarily wondered if her adoptive parents had ever forced him into anything. "Actually, it's not necessary, Mr. Huo." Ning Feiyu pursed her lips and refused. "That was just a jest from an elder. I always keep my word." Huo Jingyan's tone remained the same. Ning Feiyu secretly gritted her teeth and directly changed the subject. "But just now when I went upstairs, I heard the butler discussing that your grandfather is ill. How is his condition now?" Huo Jingyan glanced at Ning Feiyu. "He's out of danger now, but his consciousness isn't very clear. Once he gets better, I'll take you to see him." As his words fell, the man's phone suddenly rang. He glanced at the number, got up, and walked out to answer the call. Ning Feiyu secretly breathed a sigh of relief. On the other end, Huo Jingyan was talking to Feng Qi on the phone. "Thank you for helping me out greatly. That famous doctor you invited is very capable. If possible, I'd like to hire her as my private doctor to help my grandfather recover quickly. Remuneration is not an issue." Feng Qi smiled. "She's probably very short on money right now. I'll give you her number. You can just contact her." Huo Jingyan thanked him, hung up, received the number from Feng Qi, and dialed it directly. But he didn't expect that as he dialed the number, the ringtone would sound from the room behind him. He instantly furrowed his brow. Inside the room, Ning Feiyu was about to answer the phone when she sharply heard footsteps gradually approaching from outside, and she paused. Looking again at the unfamiliar number, Ning Feiyu's heart grew wary. Her fingertips quickly swiped, switching to another page and nimbly tapping. In the blink of an eye, the ringing stopped abruptly. Outside, Huo Jingyan clearly heard the call redirected to voicemail. His footsteps paused, and he finally raised his hand and knocked on the door. After a while, Ning Feiyu finally poked her head out, holding a cup of Malfong tea, typically available in guest rooms, with steam rising to her face, clearly freshly brewed. "Mr. Huo, is there something else?" Huo Jingyan narrowed his eyes, his dark, deep gaze sweeping across the woman's phone screen, his cold voice betraying no emotion. "My phone just ran out of battery. I wonder if I could borrow Miss Ning's phone to make a call." Ning Feiyu couldn't help but curse inwardly. She had considered countless possibilities for Huo Jingyan's probing, but she hadn't expected this man to utter such shameless words without batting an eyelid. "Mr. Huo, please wait a moment." She smiled slightly, turned around, and took out a perfectly matching charging cable from her bag. "Mr. Huo, please use this. Huo Jingyan reached out, but deliberately bypassed the charging cable, took the phone from Ning Feiyu's hand, and calmly raised it to her face for facial recognition unlock. Give it back to me. You're robbing me. Ning Feiyu stood on tiptoes, pretending to snatch it back, but her feet suddenly faltered, and she fell forward. Exclamation point. She crashed into the man's strong and well-built chest, smelling a rich pine scent. Ning Feiyu's beautiful eyes widened slightly in surprise, and the next second, a warm breath fell upon her head. The man's voice was low and hoarse, as if he was suppressing something. Miss Ning, are you actively seducing me? I didn't. Ning Feiyu's rebuttal remained unsaid when she suddenly felt something unusual in her lower body. She looked down, and her mind exploded. She had accidentally bumped into Huo Jingyan's vital spot. Ning Feiyu quickly snatched back her phone. As she took one step back, the tall figure pressed in, and she was instantly pinned against the wall, unable to move. She looked up, meeting the man's deep, dark pupils, and Ning Feiyu's heart inexplicably skipped a beat. Mr. Huo, please respect yourself. She turned her head away. Huo Jingyan acting like this suddenly. Could it be that he's already grown suspicious? The man, however, leaned even closer, so close that their breaths intertwined, and the surrounding air grew ambiguous. Everything that needed to be done has been done. Why bother being polite, Miss Ning? Huo Jingyan seemed to be doing it intentionally, his broad palm roaming over Ning Feiyu's waist, eliciting a shiver. She could clearly feel the man's cool fingertips gradually moving downwards. As her body went soft, she gritted her teeth and pushed Huo Jingyan away, half her body stepping into the room. Mr. Huo, when you have time, you should still get a physical checkup, lest your desires remain unfulfilled. Ning Feiyu's red lips curved slightly. After showing a meaningful smile, she slammed the door shut. Desires unfulfilled? Huo Jingyan slowly rubbed his thumb and forefinger, deep meaning surfacing in his clear, cold, dark eyes. What a sharp tongue. However, he didn't find anything unusual on Ning Feiyu's phone just now. It seemed he had been overthinking. Behind the door, Ning Feiyu leaned casually, and her suspended heart finally settled again. Fortunately, she had promptly used hacker code to redirect Huo Jingyan's incoming call to her backup phone and erase the traces. He probably wouldn't be so easy to fool. However, given Huo Jingyan's personality, he probably wouldn't easily let go of his suspicions. It would be best to be careful in the future. After using a voice changer, Ning Feiyu dialed the number back. I apologize, Mr. Huo. I was busy just now and couldn't answer the call in time. Feng Qi has already told me the specifics. I'm a straightforward person, a flat price, 5 million per month. Ning Feiyu deliberately emphasized the last two words, but it was met with silence. If Mr. Huo cannot do it, then old Master Huo's condition will still. Since the divine physician saved my grandfather's life, I, Huo, am not only willing to give a deposit of 50 million, but 5 million will also be transferred to your account as scheduled. However, I have a condition. Ning Feiyu's brows twitched slightly. Please speak, Mr. Huo. Before grandfather's body fully recovers, I will have to trouble the divine physician to stay at the Huo family residence so you can monitor his health at all times. Only this way can I ensure that grandfather's body will not encounter any issues. Furthermore, with so many eyes on the Huo family now, he cannot afford to take any risks. Ning Feiyu was troubled. Healing and saving lives was a doctor's duty, but staying at the Huo family residence, wouldn't her identity be more easily exposed? She flatly refused. I will go to check old Master Huo's health on Mondays and Wednesdays. I hope Mr. Huo can understand. After all, I have many other patients, and I cannot waste all my time on old Master Huo. Although it wasn't what he expected, Huo Jingyan didn't press the matter too much, merely instructing the butler to assign more people to ensure old Master Huo's safety. As soon as she hung up the phone, 50 million was deposited into Ning Feiyu's account. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Ning Feiyu held her phone and smiled in satisfaction. Huo Jingyan's thoughts were hard to fathom, but he was quite prompt when it came to giving money. Just then, Ning Hongguang called. As her biological father, Ning Hongguang's attitude towards her was even worse than her brother's. Now that he was actively calling her, it could only be about the Ning family's affairs. Ning Feiyu answered, and sure enough, The next second, Ning Hongwang's furious scolding rang in her ears. Ning Feiyu, you ungrateful wretch. You are, after all, a member of the Ning family. Yet you actually conspired with the Feng Corporation to bring down the Ning family. The Ning family painstakingly raised you for these past few years. Is this how you repay us? Ning Feiyu's tone was indifferent. The Ning family has never treated me as their own daughter. Why bother with these formalities, CEO Ning? Besides, how could I possibly have the power to conspire with the Feng Corporation? You think too highly of me, CEO Ning. You. Ning Hongwang's face turned livid with anger. Even now you're still lying. Someone has already seen you meet young Master Feng. If you hadn't whispered poison in his ear, how could the Feng Corporation have suddenly withdrawn their investment? Her red lips curved into a sneer, and contempt flashed in Ning Feiyu's eyes. If CEO Ning is truly capable, you can go ask young Master Feng yourself. Ning Feiyu's dismissive attitude completely enraged Ning Hongwang. He roared into the phone. You dead girl. You harmed the Ning family, and yet you refuse to repent. I'm telling you, get back here right now. You must give me an explanation for this. Otherwise, you will no longer be a part of my Ning family. The cold dial tone settled in her heart, and Ning Feiyu scoffed. She didn't care to be a member of the Ning family. It was quite laughable, really. For all these years, Ning Hongwang had ignored her, not even acknowledging her, and had even given all his affection to Ning Qianqian, even when he might have known she was his biological daughter. If the Feng Corporation hadn't withdrawn its investment, she probably wouldn't have exchanged a single word with Ning Hongwang for half a year. Now was a good time. Some matters needed to be resolved. Ning Feiyu slung her bag over her shoulder and quickly walked out of her room. As soon as she got downstairs, she saw Huo Jingyan instructing the butler about old Master Huo's care. A thought suddenly occurred to her. A glimmer of cunning flashed in her bright eyes, and she walked up to the man with a smile. Mr. Huo looks even more handsome now than he did a few minutes ago. At the woman's sudden flattery, Huo Jingyan merely lifted his eyelids and gave her a faint glance. Miss Ning, why don't you just speak your mind? Ning Feiyu didn't stand on ceremony, raising her chin slightly. Lend me 20 bodyguards. Each of the Huo family's bodyguards was a master of combat. With such ready-made personnel, how could she look far and wide? Huo Jingyan finally looked at her directly. Without asking further, he waved his hand, and 20 bodyguards appeared in the hall in unison. Ning Feiyu surveyed them with considerable satisfaction. Next, the Ning family group was in for it. Sister, no matter how dissatisfied you are with us, you could have just told us directly. Why did you have to seduce young Master Feng and persecute the Ning family? As soon as she returned to the Ning family, Ning Qianqian began to accuse, wiping away her tears. Her tear-streaked, pear blossom-like appearance would move anyone who saw it, but in Ning Feiyu's eyes, it was merely hypocritical and sickening. These people are all. Upon seeing the 20 bodyguards behind Ning Feiyu, Ning Qianqian was startled and fearfully hid behind her eldest brother, Ning Huayan. Sister, coming home is one thing, but why did you bring so many people? You're not planning to lay hands on us, are you? As soon as the words left her mouth, Ning Hongwang, who had been looking grim, slammed his hand on the table and stood up, then picked up the freshly poured hot tea and hurled it violently towards Ning Feiyu. Smash! A bodyguard, quick as lightning, immediately blocked in front of Ning Feiyu, shattering the teacup with a single punch. Exclamation point. Ning Hongwang was shocked. After he reacted, his rage intensified, and he pointed at Ning Feiyu, cursing loudly. You wretched girl, what exactly do you want? I haven't even settled accounts with you for Feng's withdrawal of investment, and you dare to cause trouble at home. Ning Feiyu carelessly kicked away the fragments at her feet and said coolly, I think I need to remind you all, this is my home. I'm giving you 1 hour to pack your things and get out, otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. What? She had only been raised in someone else's home for over 10 years, and yet Ning Feiyu was so ambitious as to want the entire Ning family. What nerve! Ning Hongwang's face grew even uglier, and the third brother, Ning Huayan, sneered, his eyes filled with disgust as he looked at Ning Feiyu. I didn't support bringing her back then, and now look, the Ning family is in trouble because of her, and she actually wants to usurp the nest. Ning Feiyu narrowed her eyes, her gaze utterly cold. Unlike the others, Ning Huayan wasn't biased towards Ning Qianqian to the point of favoritism, but for some unknown reason, he had an inexplicable aversion towards her. However, none of that mattered anymore. Ning Feiyu snapped her fingers, and a lawyer emerged from behind the 20 bodyguards. The lawyer pulled several documents from his briefcase and handed them to each of them. After reading them, their expressions instantly changed. How can this be? Didn't Dad buy this house originally? Why did the owner suddenly become Ning Feiyu? Ning Qianqian exclaimed in disbelief, her delicate features gradually distorting with shock. Ning Hongguang's face immediately turned dark, and he tore the documents to shreds. He strode quickly to Ning Feiyu, his features contorted hideously. You wretched girl, it seems if I don't teach you a good lesson, you won't know the price of coveting what isn't yours. Ning Hongguang's gaze suddenly turned malevolent, and he raised his hand to strike, but was intercepted mid-air by a bodyguard. In the blink of an eye, he was kicked several meters away by the bodyguard, coughing up blood. Ning Huayan clenched his fists and stood in the middle, while behind him, Ning Qianqian and Ning Huaifeng immediately helped the disheveled Ning Hongguang up. These documents must be forged by you. Dad personally bought this house back then and signed the papers. How could it possibly be yours? The property deed is still with us. After saying this, Ning Huaifeng immediately went upstairs to retrieve the property deed, then haughtily threw it in front of Ning Feiyu. Ning Feiyu didn't even glance at it, and burst out laughing. Ning Huaifeng gritted his teeth. What are you laughing at? The documents in your lawyer's hand are invalid. If you cause any more trouble, I'll call the police. As long as you call the police, the ones who will be thrown out will definitely be you. Ning Feiyu paid no mind to his words. Instead, she had a bodyguard bring a chair and leisurely sat down. If you don't believe me, you're welcome to call right now. Ning Hongguang staggered upright, his eyes filled with fury. The Ning family's luxurious villa cost 100 million to buy, earned through his hard work and struggle. How could he allow this damn girl to insult him so casually? Ning Qianqian lowered her voice and whispered in his ear. Dad, let's call the police right now. Otherwise, if this gets out, people will think our Ning family can't afford a house. Qianqian is right. We absolutely cannot let Ning Feiyu get away with this. I also support calling the police. And after this is over, we must make her get out of the Ning family. Ning Huayan chimed in from the side. Hearing this, Ning Hongguang gave Ning Huaifeng a look, and Ning Huaifeng immediately called the police. Soon, the police arrived. Miss Ning, we have understood the situation. You brought a group of people to cause trouble without a property deed. Since the Ning family does not acknowledge your identity, you have committed the crime of trespassing. Please come with us. Ning Feiyu looked at the arrogant individuals behind the police, a flicker of mockery in her eyes. Officer, you must have misunderstood. The property deed in their hands is fake, and the one in mine is real. The moment she pulled out an almost identical property deed from her bag, not only Ning Hongguang and the others, but even the police were momentarily stunned. One villa, two property deeds? If the officers don't believe me, you can check the stamp on their property deed. The problem will be obvious at a glance. Shut up. Ning Hongguang furiously interrupted Ning Feiyu, glaring fiercely at her. He then opened the property deed and impolitely presented it to the police. Officers, look. I personally watched this stamp being applied at the time. How could it be fake? The few police officers looked, a hint of complexity appearing in their eyes as they looked at Ning Hongguang. This stamp has typos. How could it be real? Since Miss Ning's deed is the real one, as the owner of this villa, we police have no right to interfere with any action she wishes to take. You should resolve this amongst yourselves. Watching the police leave, Ning Hongguang was dumbfounded, and the other three were too shocked to speak. They all rushed forward and, after inspecting the property deed, indeed found typos. How can this be? Ning Hongguang's voice trembled slightly. How could this be fake? Ning Huaifeng was the first to point at Ning Feiyu, declaring with certainty. It's her. She must have done it. Ning Feiyu, you're still Dad's biological daughter. How could you do such a thing? Do you really want our Ning family to be in utter chaos and become a laughingstock for others? Ning Huayan added. Ning Qianqian also sarcastically added. Sister, I think you should quickly return the property deed to Dad and take your people and leave. Otherwise, if others hear about it, They'll say the Ning family raised an ungrateful traitor. The several people spoke one after another, insulting her wantonly, but Ning Feiyu paid no mind, only showing a faint smile, not taking them seriously at all. I remember when you first bought the house, you initially liked this particular one, but because of insufficient housing supply, you were rejected the first time, weren't you? Ning Hongguang's expression changed dramatically. What do you mean? The reason the Ning family was able to acquire this villa is because I covertly orchestrated things to create the illusion that you bought it. Otherwise, did you really think the Ning family had the actual capability to buy this 200 million yuan villa at that time? How could it be 200 million? As the truth was slowly revealed, disbelief filled everyone's eyes. Ning Feiyu, on the other hand, watched them with keen interest. If you don't believe me, you can go ask the real estate agents and developers who resold it back then, but now, it's time for you vampires to get out of my territory. Ning Feiyu raised her hand, and the bodyguards swarmed upstairs, throwing a pile of things down from the upper floor before Ning Hongguang and the others could react. Ning Qianqian, nearly hit, screamed, and was quickly shielded in Ning Huifeng's arms. As items fell one by one, some even precious ones shattering into pieces, Ning Hongguang could no longer maintain his composure and had no choice but to compromise. No matter who holds the property deed, this is the Ning family, and since your surname is Ning, you have no right to kick us out. Don't forget, these are your younger sister and older brother standing here. Can you really be so cold-blooded and heartless? So they think the timing is wrong, and they're starting to play the emotional card? It's just that Ning Hongguang's acting was truly awful. It was sickening to listen to. Ning Feiyu couldn't be bothered with them, only looking up to urge the bodyguards upstairs. Hurry up. In half an hour, I don't want to see any of their things in this villa. Sister, you can't do this. Ning Qianqian rushed over anxiously, kneeling at her feet with a fragile demeanor. We are family. How can you be so cruel? If you're truly unhappy with anything about the family, then take all your anger out on me. Qianqian, there's no need to beg someone like this. Even without this villa, we can live somewhere else. Being with someone like her just disgusts me. Ning Huifeng helped Ning Qianqian up, his gaze towards Ning Feiyu completely devoid of warmth. Ning Feiyu blinked, then scoffed. You've been freeloading for so many years, and I never asked you for money. And now you have the nerve to bite the hand that feeds you? It seems ungrateful wretches is the most fitting description for you. Ning Huifeng was about to explode, but suddenly caught sight of his favorite calligraphy and painting being thrown down from upstairs by a bodyguard. He rushed to catch it, but unexpectedly tripped and fell near the stairs, looking extremely disheveled. After Ning Hongguang reacted, his first action was to rush into the study and hug out his safe. Ning Huaiyan, on the other hand, showed no reaction, only a venomous gaze as if he wanted to devour Ning Feiyu alive. After the commotion at the Huo family, Ning Feiyu was already exhausted. She stood up, lazily yawned, and turned to relax in the garden pavilion. Watching her back, Ning Qianqian gritted her teeth fiercely, an almost imperceptible malice flashing in her eyes. Bitch, you just wait. Young madam, we found this in your room. She had just dozed off in the pavilion when a bodyguard reported, holding a wooden box. Before coming, she had instructed the bodyguards on the way to focus on searching Ning Hongguang's room for anything important, especially a jade bracelet. Unexpectedly, they actually found it. Ning Feiyu instantly became alert, suddenly realizing something was off. She looked at the bodyguard with a complex expression. What did you just call me? The bodyguard hesitated for a few seconds. Young madam. Ning Feiyu felt a headache coming on. Where did they get the idea that she and Huo Jingyan had a thing going on? After opening the box, a bracelet made of suet jade indeed lay inside. It was her mother's relic. Afterwards, the bodyguard handed over another item, which was the auction registration information form for this jade bracelet. The date was exactly 3 days later. Ning Feiyu sneered. No wonder he still kept this bracelet. The bracelet was worth at least tens of millions. For money, he wouldn't even let go of his mother's relic. Suddenly, Ning Feiyu noticed a mark on the bracelet. Picking it up and examining it in the sunlight, she discovered that the bracelet seemed to bear someone's fingerprints. Ning Feiyu's heart skipped a beat, and she immediately had a suspicion. Ning Feiyu. Amidst the commotion, The jade bracelet was snatched from her hand with a forceful pull, instantly shattering into two halves. Ning Feiyu's face darkened, and she unconsciously clenched her fists. It was Zhou Peihan. He demanded of Ning Feiyu, "What gives you the right to kick Qianqian and the others out? Let me tell you, if I wanted the right to use this villa, it would be as easy as pie. If you insist on doing that, don't blame me for not showing you any last bit of respect." Ning Feiyu's gaze fell on the suddenly appearing Zhou Peihan, and a chilling coldness emerged in her pupils. "Show me respect? Is there any respect between us? Besides, if you were really so kind, you wouldn't be secretly involved with Ning Qianqian, would you? Am I wrong? Adulterous couple?" She deliberately raised her voice, just enough for Ning Qianqian, who had followed him, to hear. Ning Qianqian bit her lip and tearfully threw herself into Zhou Peihan's arms. "Brother Han, sister is speaking too much." Zhou Peihan's cold eyes swept towards Ning Feiyu. "Qianqian and I are mutually in love. Even if you're unwilling, you shouldn't treat the Ning family like this. Ning Feiyu, I'm giving you two choices now. Either you get out yourself, or I'll kick you out." He arrogantly snorted. "Don't think you can do whatever you want just because you brought 20 bodyguards. I also brought people when I came, enough to apprehend all of them. At that time, who do you think can protect you?" Ning Feiyu slowly took a breath. Her palms suddenly loosened, then clenched into fists again, clear anger in her eyes. "I don't need other bodyguards. I can deal with you ants by myself." Zhou Peihan's eyes widened, looking at her as if she were a lunatic. "Ning Feiyu, you want to offend the entire Zhou family for a villa? Do you think you can offend?" Before he finished speaking, he was punched by Ning Feiyu. Ning Feiyu's punch was incredibly fast, landing precisely on Zhou Peihan's cheekbone. With a crack, the bone shattered on the spot, and half of his face actually collapsed. The bodyguards were so stunned their mouths hung open. "Is young madam that strong?" "Brother Han." Ning Qianqian rushed over to help Zhou Peihan up. Zhou Peihan swayed, his face covered in embarrassment. Just as he was about to speak, he suddenly spat out a mouthful of bloody froth, his eyes rolled back, and he instantly lost consciousness. "Young madam, even if his cheekbone shattered, he wouldn't be like that, would he?" A bodyguard couldn't help but ask. Ning Feiyu didn't even glance at the few people frantically carrying Zhou Peihan away in the distance, calmly stating as she picked up the jade bracelet, "Just a special technique. If you want to learn, I can teach you." Cold sweat broke out on the bodyguards' backs. As expected of young madam. Young master, you must hold on. We'll send you to the hospital right away." The unconscious Zhou Peihan was carried out. Ning Hongguang and the others looked on in disbelief. Ning Huifeng pulled back Ning Qianqian, who was rushing to follow him to the hospital. "How did young Master Zhou end up like this?" Ning Qianqian, with reddened eyes, wiped away a tear. It was sister. She beat Brother Han into this state." "She has that much power?" Ning Huan was suspicious. Ning Feiyu was just a woman. How could she beat young Master Zhou into such a state? She must have used some dirty trick. Half an hour had already passed. How am I still seeing these people here? Ning Feiyu suddenly appeared, her tone slightly displeased. The bodyguards, who had already thrown the luggage out the door, heard this and immediately surrounded the Ning family members. "What are you doing? Let me go." The Ning family members were immediately lifted up by the bodyguards and unhesitatingly thrown out of the house. Their shouts still echoed from not far away. "How dare you actually treat us like this, Ning Feiyu? I won't let you off. Sooner or later, we will definitely take back the Ning family's villa." Without Zhou Peihan as their backer, even their accusations lacked conviction. Ning Feiyu only found it amusing. After signaling the bodyguards that they could leave with her eyes, she turned and went upstairs. Back in her room, she walked to the bedside table, gently twisted the lamp on it, and soon, a deep, seemingly endless passage appeared before her. After walking for about 2 minutes, her vision suddenly cleared, revealing a laboratory tens of square meters in size. This laboratory was an extra space in the villa, which she had specifically used for pharmaceutical research so that the Ning family wouldn't discover it. Ning Feiyu walked to the lab bench and sat down, took out a cotton swab and a microscope slide, and then took out the shattered jade bracelet. She wiped the jade bracelet with a cotton swab to take a sample, then smeared it on the microscope slide. With everything ready, Ning Feiyu slid her chair to the microscope, placed the slide, and began to observe. When she first discovered the abnormality of the jade bracelet, she suspected there were drug residues on it. Now, seeing it, it was indeed as she had thought. Not only that, there was also half a fingerprint on the jade bracelet. However, this fingerprint was easily refutable as evidence, so it was clearly useless. Ning Feiyu focused her attention on the drug detection and soon had a result. It turned out to be a special toxin, which Ning Hongguang must have accidentally gotten on it when he laid hands on her mother. If it were to be used as evidence for a conviction, they would still need to find Ning Hongguang's channel for purchasing the poison. Ning Feiyu stared at the jade bracelet, a cold glint flashing in her eyes. Mom, rest assured, I will definitely make Ning Hongguang pay the price he deserves. Ding dong. Her phone screen lit up. Ning Feiyu glanced at it. It was a message from the design department's general manager's assistant, informing her to come to the company tomorrow. She had been on leave for the past few days because of Zhou Peihan's matter, but now the general manager was suddenly asking her to return to the company, which clearly meant something was amiss. Ning Feiyu sneered. What kind of trouble will it be this time? Mr. Huo. Miss Ning not only drove her family out of the Ning residence, but she even used force to cave in half of young Master Zhou's face. According to the news just received from the hospital, young Master Zhou is undergoing emergency surgery, and it said his brain suffered severe damage. Oh, the man standing in front of the full-length window turned around, his tall and slender figure backlit, making it impossible to discern the expression on his face. Yes, Miss Ning said she used a special technique when she attacked young Master Zhou. But your subordinate is very curious. What kind of special technique could cause such severe brain damage to young Master Zhou? Unless this woman has a very thorough understanding of human anatomy. Huo Jingyan's dark eyes subtly shifted, and a profound meaning appeared between his cold and deep brows. Go investigate Ning Feiyu's schedule for the past few days. If that woman is truly the legendary miracle doctor, then this matter becomes even more interesting. The next day, as soon as Ning Feiyu entered the design department, she noticed several gazes from around her falling upon her, filled with disgust and suspicion. With something like this happening, how dare she still show up at the company? She's thick-skinned. She has connections. What's she afraid of? Designers like us, without power or influence, can only accept our fate when something like this happens. The whispers clearly reached Ning Feiyu's ears. Her red lips curved into a sneer, her gaze coldly sweeping over everyone as she said, indifferently, "What's wrong? Gossiping behind people's backs but not having the guts to say it to their faces." As soon as she finished speaking, several female colleagues couldn't help themselves. "Ning Feiyu, do you still have the nerve to talk about others? We all already know about your plagiarism. We originally thought you were so impressive, but it turns out it was all stolen." "Exactly. Everyone here got in based on their own abilities, unlike you, who climbed to the top by relying on a man." Ning Feiyu frowned. Before returning to the Ning family, her design works had won international awards. How could she possibly plagiarize? If someone said others plagiarized her, that would be more believable. Ning Feiyu couldn't be bothered to pay them any more attention and walked straight towards the general manager's office. However, as soon as she pushed the door open, several fashion magazines were hurled at her. "Look what you've done. You've ruined our design department." Ning Feiyu deftly dodged them, her high heels crushing the magazines as she walked up to the general manager and unceremoniously sat down in the chair opposite him. "I didn't plagiarize." "You say you didn't? Your plagiarism has already been posted online, and our design department has been singled out for criticism by the company. If it weren't for you, would I have been yelled at for 3 whole hours?" The general manager slammed his palm on the table, glaring furiously at Ning Feiyu. "Let me tell you, it was clearly stipulated in your contract when you joined the company. If you do anything that harms the company's reputation, you will have to pay a penalty of 100 million. If you don't come up with the money within an hour, just wait to go to jail." An hour? 100 million? Did they really think she was an ATM? Looking at the corpulent general manager with his flabby jowls, Ning Feiyu's smile deepened. "General manager, you certainly speak with great vigor, but what evidence do you have now to prove I plagiarized?" Hearing this, the general manager grew even angrier. He immediately pulled several design drafts from his drawer and slammed them down in front of Ning Feiyu. Ning Feiyu glanced at them. They were comparison images of her and Lena's designs. But it was clear that Lena had plagiarized her. This Lena was a female colleague who had always targeted her in the company. Coincidentally, Lena had some connection to Ning Qianqian. It seemed Ning Qianqian was still instigating things behind the scenes, and coupled with the fact that she had already offended the Zhou Corporation, the Zhou Corporation now couldn't wait to strip her of everything and kick her out. Ning Feiyu. Lena had walked in unnoticed, and pointing at Ning Feiyu, she immediately launched into an accusation. How dare you sit there? Not only have you harmed the design department, but you've also infringed upon my right to reputation. You'd better compensate me quickly, or I won't let this go easily. How could she even have the nerve to say such things? Indeed, when people become shameless, they truly don't know the meaning of the word shame. Ning Feiyu leaned back slightly, appearing at ease, her fingertips unconsciously tapping the desk as she looked innocently at Lena. If I can prove that you plagiarized my design work, will you also compensate me? Lena clearly hadn't expected Ning Feiyu to say this. She was stunned for a few seconds, then gritted her teeth and retorted righteously. How could I possibly plagiarize your work? That's not necessarily true. Ning Feiyu stood up, walked to the general manager's side, kicked him aside, opened his computer, and began typing nimbly. The general manager was already fat, and now that he had been pushed to the ground, it was even harder for him to get up. He glared viciously at Ning Feiyu, just about to curse, when Ning Feiyu had already logged into the internationally used design plagiarism detection and identification system. Lena was startled and immediately tried to refute. This system can only identify similarity. It can't prove the order of creation, so it can't be used as evidence. Ning Feiyu's lips curved into a smile, her fingers dancing across the keyboard, and a series of source codes instantly appeared on the screen. The timestamp clearly showed that Lena's file was created after Ning Feiyu's. The duplication rate combined with the time record undeniably proved that Lena had plagiarized. Lena's eyes widened. Impossible. You must have tampered with this software. Ning Feiyu folded her arms, leaning casually against the edge of the table, not even glancing at the general manager who was struggling to get up beside her. If you don't believe me, you can go to the technical department and find someone to come over right now. Lena gritted her teeth, unwilling to give up, and ran straight to the IT department. At this moment, the general manager had just straightened up, but Ning Feiyu suddenly pulled up something else on the computer. After seeing the content clearly, the general manager's entire face turned liver-colored. Ning Feiyu looked at him with a smile. The general manager is a smart person. If these things get exposed, do you think you'd still be able to stay at Zhou's? Lena will be back soon. If the general manager can go with the flow and do me a favor, I'll naturally keep my mouth shut. The general manager's expression was grim. He hadn't expected Ning Feiyu to have changed so much in just a few days. Where on earth did she get the evidence of his corruption? That evidence was hidden in his USB drive. In the blink of an eye, the general manager put on a friendly smile, even helping Ning Feiyu sit in his office chair and personally pouring her a cup of tea. Feiyu, you've worked under me for so many years now. Let's talk things over nicely. Why resort to such extremes? I've thought it over carefully, and you're right. I really shouldn't lose sight of the bigger picture over something small. Don't worry, when Lena comes back, I'll give her a good talking to. Ning Feiyu nodded with satisfaction as she looked at the tea the general manager offered. The general manager is indeed a smart person. Don't worry, as long as this matter doesn't affect anyone, no secrets will be leaked. Hearing this, the general manager immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Just then, Lena returned with people from the IT department. Seeing this scene, she looked bewildered. General manager, how could you? The general manager looked up at her. What do you mean? How could I? Did I tell you to find people from the IT department? Do you know how the other general managers would mock me if this got out to other departments? Lena, you're an old-timer in the design department. Why are you still so immature in your work? The general manager's sudden change in attitude made Lena immediately question Ning Feiyu. What exactly did you say to the general manager while I was gone? Ning Feiyu didn't even glance at her. Instead, the general manager snorted coldly. We were just talking about the plagiarism. Lena, the evidence now proves that you plagiarized. According to company regulations, you need to pay a breach of contract penalty of 100 million. I advise you to prepare the money quickly, or don't blame me, the general manager, for turning ruthless. What? 100 million? How could she afford that? General manager, has this woman got something on you? Don't worry, if we just go to CEO Zhou will definitely. Lena wanted to salvage the current situation, but Ning Feiyu interrupted her playfully. Don't you know? Young Master Zhou is currently in the hospital. If you want him to preside over this, you'd better go to the hospital and wait on him for a few days first, and then talk about it when he regains consciousness. Lena's eyes widened in shock. How is that possible? When did young Master Zhou get injured? Ning Feiyu took a sip of tea and stood up directly. General Manager, I'll leave the rest to you. Oh, and one more thing. Ning Feiyu presented her resignation letter and left without looking back. Lena wanted to chase after her, but the general manager stopped her. All right, this matter has already been investigated thoroughly. What more do you have to say? The police are already on their way. Since you can't afford the compensation, just go to prison. Anyway, someone had to take the blame for this. And who told Lena to be the unlucky one? Lena slumped to the ground. How could this happen? City Center Hospital. Brother Han. As Zhou Peihan just woke up from emergency treatment, Ning Qianqian threw herself at him, crying. Thank goodness you're all right. Otherwise, what would I do all by myself? I'm sorry, Brother Han. This time I dragged you down. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have been beaten up like this. Thinking of the previous humiliation, fury surged within Zhou Peihan's chest, yet he had nowhere to vent it, so he could only forcefully suppress it. He was just about to sit up when his assistant suddenly rushed in. Young master, for some reason, evidence of the design department general manager's corruption suddenly exploded online. Because the corruption is so widespread, the police have already begun an internal investigation at the company, involving several high-level executives. The news can no longer be suppressed. After the old master found out, he's throwing a temper at home. In a fit of rage, Zhou Peihan coughed violently a few times. A bunch of good-for-nothings. You can't even handle such a small matter. Ning Qianqian quickly helped him up, complaining somewhat aggrievedly. Brother Han, it's not their fault. Lena just called me and said this matter is related to Big Sister. I bet Big Sister is holding a grudge and retaliating against you. What, her again? Zhou Peihan gritted his teeth fiercely. That crazy woman. I knew I shouldn't have let her into the company in the first place. Brother Han, don't be angry. Once your injuries heal, I'll make Big Sister give you an explanation, Ning Qianqian said sweetly. Zhou Peihan was about to say more, but his phone suddenly received a text message. The moment he opened it and saw the content, Zhou Peihan's pupils suddenly dilated. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted on the spot. Brother Han, are you all right? Ning Qianqian hurriedly went to call for a doctor. She inadvertently caught a glimpse of Zhou Peihan's still-lit phone screen, a look of shock on her face. How could it be? How are those two together? Could it be that Ning Feiyu is so rampant now because she has that man backing her? Ning Qianqian clenched her fingertips tightly, hatred and jealousy spreading in her heart. That person was Zhou Peihan's uncle, with status and power several times higher than Zhou Peihan's. Why is that bitch always so lucky? Beneath the Huo Group building, a woman wearing sunglasses stopped, looking up at the colossal group logo above her head, her brows and eyes filled with gravity. Half an hour ago, Ning Feiyu had just left Zhou Corporation when she received a text message invitation from Huo Jingyan, hoping she would participate in a national-level design project. She had just resigned from Zhou Corporation, and Huo Jingyan was already eagerly poaching her. What exactly was his motive? Regardless, Ning Feiyu decided she couldn't stay by Huo Jingyan's side. Firstly, she had no intention of marrying anyone right now, and secondly, there were many things she hadn't completed. If he interfered, it might disrupt her plans. Ning Feiyu didn't have the habit of relying on others. Calming herself, Ning Feiyu walked into the Huo Group's entrance. Mr. Huo, Miss Ning has arrived. Huo Jingyan's assistant, Mark, led Ning Feiyu to his office. It was very large and spacious, located on the top floor of the entire building, with floor-to-ceiling glass windows on all four sides. At a glance, it gave a soaring feeling of overlooking the entire city. Mr. Huo, inviting me to participate in your company's project design. I'm afraid you're overestimating me. Ning Feiyu sat properly on the sofa, feigning a naive appearance. Are you saying you don't want to participate in my project? Huo Jingyan raised an eyebrow. It's not that I don't want to. As a junior designer, I dream of having such an opportunity, but I know my own capabilities, so… Ning Feiyu put on a sincere expression. You've already resigned from Zhou Corporation. Now that you're rejecting my invitation, what are your plans? Fortunately, Huo Jingyan didn't intend to force Ning Feiyu, merely asking indifferently. I plan to open my own design studio and start a business slowly. Start a business slowly? An enigmatic smile appeared at the corner of Huo Jingyan's mouth. Yes, Mr. Huo also knows my current situation. I need to become independent and not be looked down upon by others. Marry me, and all your worries will cease to exist. Here we go again. Ning Feiyu's head was spinning. Wasn't he too persistent? A poem puts it well. I wish to stand with you as the image of a tree, not a clinging trumpet creeper. I don't have the patience to wait for your tree to grow. Huo Jingyan's dark, thick brows furrowed slightly. Otherwise, forget it. Ning Feiyu tentatively probed. Huo Jingyan didn't speak, but picked up the checkbook on his desk. You're opening a studio. How much money do you need? Ning Feiyu shook her head. If you don't interfere in my affairs, I think I'd be even more grateful to you. 3 months. If your studio hasn't shown any improvement after 3 months, then you must come back and marry me. There was no room for discussion. Having no choice, Ning Feiyu could only bite the bullet and agree. As things stood, what was originally meant to be a perfunctory remark to Huo Jingyan now had to be treated as a goal to be achieved. Ning Feiyu left the building and went straight back to the villa, converting the entire first floor into a design studio, naming it Yu Fei. Next, of course, was to recruit staff. Ning Feiyu selected only recent university graduates. Such an environment was relatively simple, making it much easier for her to get things done. 3 days later, Ning Feiyu's studio officially opened for business. But on the opening day, Zhou Peihan, with bandages wrapped around his face, and a group of people from the Ning family arrived at the villa. Big sister, why didn't you tell us about such a big event as opening a studio? If you had told us, we definitely would have prepared a gift for you. Ning Qianqian held Zhou Peihan's arm, looking like a delicate little bird. No need. Ning Feiyu narrowed her eyes. Qianqian, why are you wasting words on her? Ning Feiyu, we came here today to inform you that even if you secretly manipulated things to get the property deed for this house, the 100 million I gave out was clear as day. If you want to keep this house to yourself, return the 100 million to me. Ning Hongguang sneered, pulling out the invoice issued by the developer. Big sister, you're right. It really seems like no gift is needed now, because your studio will probably have to move, won't it? Ning Huayan walked up to Ning Feiyu, looking at her expressionlessly. You've taken the house, so you must hand over this 100 million. You want to settle accounts, do you? Ning Feiyu smiled. Shouldn't I? As a member of the Ning family, you're so heartless, driving your own father and brother out. Ning Feiyu, you vicious woman. Flames of hatred flickered in Ning Huaima's eyes. Me vicious? Ning Huaima, do you know how your biological mother died? Ning Feiyu's gaze shifted to Ning Hongguang, who clearly became nervous. Stop spouting nonsense here. Everyone knows Mom passed away because of illness. Ning Huaiyuan grabbed Ning Feiyu's wrist. It's all because of you that the Ning family is in such disarray. If Mom were still alive, you'd probably have angered her to death. Humph, you good-for-nothing idiots. You guarded Mom, but let her die an unnatural death. Ning Feiyu shook off Ning Huaiyuan, walking step by step towards Ning Hongguang, staring intently into his eyes. Heaven watches what men do. I will settle this score sooner or later. You, what do you mean? Ning Hongguang, red-faced with anger, grabbed the invoice, ready to slap Ning Feiyu's face, but Ning Feiyu deftly dodged it, then sneered disdainfully. Ning Feiyu deftly dodged it, then sneered disdainfully. What I mean, you know perfectly well in your heart. I don't know. Stop talking nonsense and hand over the money quickly. Ning Hongguang dared not prolong the confrontation. He didn't know why Ning Feiyu had suddenly attacked, nor if he had left any incriminating evidence, but he was ultimately guilty conscience. This money, I already gave it to you. Even an extra 50 million. Ning Feiyu looked at Ning Hongguang. When you did that real estate deal in the southern suburbs with the phone group, Did a mysterious person invest capital and buy shares? And did those shares all fall into the Ning family's hands? Ning Feiyu, how do you know that? Could it be that he told you when you were entangled with young Master Feng again? Fifth brother Ning Huaiming blurted out. He had handled that business. At the time, Feng Qi had indeed told him that a mysterious person had filled the Ning family's funding gap, but he couldn't get any more information by asking further. Don't pin your Ning family's conduct on me. Ning Huaiming. Out of that 150 million, was 10 million transferred to your private account? If you want to see the bank statements, I can have them sent over immediately. Aye. Ning Huaiming was exposed on the spot, his face turning crimson to his ears. Wretch, what kind of scoundrels have I raised? Ning Hongguang was so furious he almost collapsed. In other words, now he not only had no reason to make Ning Feiyu hand over 100 million, but he was also set up by his own son. Dad, don't be angry. Even if a mysterious person secretly helped us, it doesn't necessarily mean it has anything to do with Big Sister, does it? She wasn't the one who produced that money. Ning Qianqian quickly ran to Ning Hongguang, supporting him with a face full of concern. Exactly. She just says whatever she wants. Does she have that kind of financial capability? Forget 150 million. She probably can't even come up with 5,000 yuan. Ning Huaiming waved his hand frantically, exasperated. Since that's the case, you're welcome to call the police. Now leave my house immediately. If you disrupt my normal work, I will countersue you for trespassing. Ning Feiyu couldn't be bothered to waste any more words on them and directly called the villa security guards. Uncle Qianqian, let's go. I don't believe it. I can't deal with this wild woman. At this moment, Zhou Peihan stepped forward, a vicious cold light emanating from his remaining half-eye. In the studio, several young employees witnessed the scene before them, their admiration for Ning Feiyu's competence and decisive style growing stronger. Work hard. I'll take care of the business side. You just focus on using your strengths and abilities. I believe that with everyone's joint efforts, we'll soon upgrade from a studio to a design company. Ning Feiyu returned to the villa, smiling as she encouraged them. Thank you, Sister Fei. Sister Fei, you're amazing, so decisive. I'm relieved now. Before, I thought Sister Fei wasn't much older than us and wouldn't have a lot of social experience. The young people solidified their confidence. With their enthusiasm and the daring spirit of newborn calves unafraid of tigers, Ning Feiyu felt that, with proper training, they genuinely had the potential to join her actual FY high-end design company. Regarding business, Ning Feiyu decided to allocate a portion from FY to the studio. That way, she wouldn't have to fear Huo Jingyan forcing her into marriage 3 months later. Hadn't he said that she would only have to go back and marry him if the studio didn't show any progress? But what if it thrived? Then she would have more time to maneuver. With work tasks and goals, the studio became more vibrant. Although the employees were all new, newcomers had their advantages. At least, there wouldn't be the same kind of infighting and murky atmosphere as at Zhou's. When work ended, Ning Feiyu received a call. As she picked it up, her head started to ache, so she had no choice but to pull out her voice changer. Hello, Mr. Huo. Hello, Divine Doctor. I'm calling to confirm if you can come to our house for my grandfather's follow-up consultation on Monday. Rest assured, Mr. Huo, with your concern for your grandfather's condition, how could I dare to delay? That's good. I can send a car to pick you up on Monday. No need. I know the way myself. After hanging up, Ning Feiyu couldn't help but pat her chest. This Huo Jingyan was too cautious. Dealing with him required extreme care. She couldn't let him discover anything. Monday. It seemed she would have to figure out a way to pull off a clone technique on Monday, otherwise, it would be easily exposed. After all the employees had left, Ning Feiyu went to the kitchen. For complete peace and quiet, she had already dismissed all the helpers and cooks Ning Hongguang had hired. Currently, she was the only one living there, so the first thing to solve was her hunger. Well, truly worthy of being talents trained by the Ning family. They took everything so cleanly, didn't they? Opening the refrigerator door, Ning Feiyu was a bit dumbfounded. It was completely empty, with only a few green onions left. The cook, before leaving, hadn't forgotten to pack up and take away the last bit of perks, which left Ning Feiyu not knowing whether to laugh or cry. But she still had to eat. Her stomach was rumbling. The takeout she'd ordered with the employees at noon had long been digested, and if she went hungry much longer, she'd get low blood sugar. Ning Feiyu changed into a hoodie and jeans, slipped on white sneakers, and headed out the door. The villa area had various living facilities. She decided to go buy some ingredients she liked. It had been a long time since she'd properly showcased her cooking skills. Honestly, she missed it a little. As dusk settled, when Ning Feiyu returned to the villa carrying a bag of ingredients, the sky was already quite dim. Just as she entered the kitchen, before turning on the lights, Ning Feiyu felt a chilly draft behind her. With a keen turn, she kicked out, hitting something soft. But at the same time, her nostrils caught a strange scent. Damn, it was an anesthetic. As a doctor, Ning Feiyu was all too familiar with such substances, but familiarity didn't mean she was always prepared, so she quickly felt her vision go black, and her body went limp.